Hey all, this is Church of Caboose, and for this Destiny 2 video, we're talking all things and everything Bastion. So it's got Bastion related. It'll be talked about in this video. We're going to talk about how you get the Bastion, the puzzle community thing that led up to acquiring this. We're going to look at its perks, some gameplay, all kinds of stuff. So before we get into this video, thanks to my wife. She gave me the day off from being a husband, basically, because I was doing lots of gameplay acquiring for this and other videos today. And I just really appreciate that she let me put the day into the channel. And if you guys like my content that we put out, and feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more things Church of Caboose, and maybe share the video to help out your friends. I don't know. That part, it's all up to you. Alright, so the very first thing you want to do when getting the Bastion is you need to be on the character that you did all of the story mission stuff with. So whatever character you did the 2 story missions with Saint 14, whatever character you're on where you did those and you unlocked the bounties you can get from Saint 14 in the tower, that is the character you have to be on in order to acquire the core, I guess, for the Bastion. So that's the very first thing. The second thing, make sure you go to Osiris and grab the quest called Explore the Corridors of Time before you do the first step thing of finding the core. If you don't, you'll be like me when I tweeted out earlier something about how I did the whole puzzle, didn't get the core because I was a dumbass and didn't pick up the quest. So don't be like me. Don't be like Church. Be smart. Have the quest on you the first time. Alright, so the next part is going to be gameplay of the Corridors of Time, similar to what you're seeing right now, only it'll be from start to finish of all the codes. I have a link down below that tells you what order to go in. There's 30 codes, 1 through 30, have to go in through right doors, and the link will have what you gotta do in the proper order, as well as a little description about each of the symbols. Now there's 4 symbols. You got Snake, which kind of looks like a snake. If you look at all your options, it's the only one that looks like a snake. Then you have Clover, which looks kind of like 4 roundish-ish squares that were put together to make like a bigger square. Then you have Plus, which looks like a plus sign, and you have Diamond, which looks a little bit like the sticky or spike grenade symbol for grenade launchers, but it also looks like a diamond in like the overall shape of it. So when you have those codes and then it says diamond, then you run through the door that has the diamond symbol in front of it. I think you guys can probably get it from there. If not, just read more details in the links down below. Alright, so the next little chunk of this video will be just gameplay at an increased speed of the corridors from beginning to finish of getting the core, just so you guys can kind of see what the pattern, I guess, was for the week of ending on January 21st, because I hope Glad is wrong. He's like, if it resets every week, what code pattern it is, like it does for Outbreak Prime or Whisper of the Worm. He's like, I'm done. So hopefully it's not like Outbreak Perfected. Anyways, guys, enjoy, and if you do not need to watch, just to refer back to the timestamps, and you can skip around the whole running through the labyrinth of the Corridors of Time. Just real quick, as we're starting off this little journey, that is my dog Winnie, if you managed to hear her. But if you are doing the Corridors of Time as a fire team, make sure you guys are going through the gates within a couple seconds of each other at the most, because we found if you had much of a gap, then you would get locked out of going into next doors, and that is really annoying. So make sure you guys are sticking together and rezzing each other, not getting super far ahead. Just stay within a couple seconds of each other. Alright, so you have managed to acquire the weapon core that you managed to do the puzzle successfully, and you've done a couple of other steps, and you are now on the part that requires you to kill 5 fallen captains and 4 servitors. Probably the easiest way to get this done, and the fastest, most efficient manner possible, is to go to the empty tank lost sector. It's right next to the spider and the tangled shore. Just run on in there, kill the vandal that is guarding the entrance into this lost sector, fire a rocket at the red bar servitor that's kind of chilling the opposite side of the room, and run back out and do this 5 times, and boom! Quest step completed. This lost sector also happens to be the location of the next step after the fallen captains and servitors, where it's like, hey, you gotta kill, I can't even pronounce his name, so I'm not gonna try, I'll just overlay it. You gotta kill this dude and the empty tank, so you just run through this lost sector, and then you go into the next couple of rooms, you get to like the little boss fight arena, and that captain is the first boss that spawns in, kill him, and you don't have to even finish the rest of the lost sector. So there you go, kind of a 2-for-1 little segment here. Alright, so the next little segment that's worth kind of giving you guys some hints about is the step where you have to do a bunch of spider bounties, challenging enemies, and public events. Hopefully y'all took advantage of the data mining and saved up your 10 spider bounties. Otherwise, just get 20 ghost fragments by doing public events and patrols, and you can just go across the whole system doing those wanted bounties, and it's not too much trouble. And that's what you do for the bounties. For the public event and challenging enemies, there's not much of a trick to it other than find one of those public events, make it heroic, and you will probably kill almost all of those challenging enemies in that one heroic public event. That makes it where your remaining 7 public events, you can just waste that one dude as fast as you can without having to worry about turning it into a heroic. If you turn this particular event into a heroic, you will extend quite a bit of time into your Bastion grind, because you add on like having to capture that zone and doing a little bit of other mechanics that can be a little bit tricky, and it's just way easier just to waste the dude. So just again, reminder, do 1 heroic public event, should get you really close to your 30 challenging enemies defeated, and then the rest of your public events, the last 7, just blow up the dude as fast as you possibly can. Alright, one of the last couple of steps we'll give you guys a little bit of coverage on is where you have to find the lost sector and the 4-horned gulch and find the grave that is located in that gulch. It's not very hard to find, but if you don't know where to look, it can be a little bit tricky, so I thought I would just give you guys some footage of how to find the grave and this lost sector. So just watch through for like a minute or 2, and you will be ready for the next part of this video. And we are now close to the end of this quest. One of the last steps you have to do is find a boss in the Hollowed Lair Strike. Now make sure you are picking the strike option that is pros for you when you pull up your map options on the Tangled Shore. There will be a little Season of the Dawn, a little thing next to the strike option on the bottom right of the Tangled Shore. So make sure you are activating that. Now all you have to do is just play the strike as you normally would, and once you get to the boss fight, pretty shortly into the fight, you will see in the bottom left of your screen, it will say so and so is rising. Just go on the left side of the map, like up the left staircase, and there is the big boss boy, just as you see on screen. And I just want to point out, it looks like he is carrying a big ass Lord of Wolves. I thought that was pretty cool and just worth mentioning. And that's really the last thing you need to worry about. The rest of this video is going to be talking about like the puzzle, the journey, and looking at like the perks, that kind of thing. Pretty typical weapon review sorts of stuff. So after days and days of the Destiny community coming together to figure out this map and this road puzzle, streamers not getting sleep, this is what we get. This is the reward for all that hard work.
Alright, I'm gonna go cry.
Like, this is what you get. We have so much hype. People are talking about, is this going to unlock trials? At one point, Glad was tweeting out, we have 70,000 possibilities left. Like, all this crazy stuff could have been. And all we got was a goddamn gun that we were already scheduled to get in 2 weeks from when this puzzle was released on January 28th. But in true form, let's look at the Bastion's perks, because we went through all that work and mental crying and perhaps real crying, so we might as well look and see what in the world the Bastion is and what it does. So it's got the perk of Saint's Fists, charges to fire 3 spreads of kinetic slugs. I will talk more about my opinions on the Bastion after having used it a little bit later in the video, but really that's like it. That's really the only special thing it does. You kind of see a little bit farther over how we got a couple other perk, a special looking perk, and we'll get to that here real quick. But like, this is it. Like, that was it. Then you have Hammerforged rifling, which just give it more range. Liquid coils decreases charge time but increases the impact damage. And then breakthrough, which is like a minor form of the Arbalest, which basically it does more moderate damage against like elemental shields. So it's kind of like Arbalest, but you know, obviously not as awesome as Arbalest is for shield breaking. And that's really it. Like, so the Bastion, its big main thing is it fires 3 like slug bursts, and then it breaks shields. So let's kind of go back to the earlier little cutscene of our favorite detective on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Jake Peralta. It was my favorite. So the puzzle, so when you picked up the quest, find or complete the quarters of time, whatever, at the very beginning, when we started this whole video, that was last week on the weekly reset leading up to January 21st, and everyone was super pumped. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, like what are we going to get when we complete this quest? Streamers were up for a day or two at a time, like doing things like 2 hours of sleep. The whole community was trying to figure out what this puzzle was. At one point, Glad had tweeted like, hey, we're getting there, almost only 70,000 potential options left. Like, this was a huge community endeavor, and we went through it, and all we got was this stupid gun. And when I saw in my clan's Discord, in my Church and Friends Discord, which you can find a link for down below, when people were like, hey, like, this is what you get, all of us were thinking this.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Bungie missed out on a huge, huge opportunity. Like, what a slap in the junk. Or like getting slapped like with a fish for putting in all of that time and effort just to have nothing happen.
I'm here at Barry Island Beach, and there's no sign of the sun.
I can only imagine that for all those poor streamers, that having Bastion be the reward, which was something we already knew was supposed to be coming anyways, instead of this big old mystery that we were all led to believe, felt like getting slapped in the face by a fish. So anyways, let's just kind of review this gun real quick. In PvE, it is not bad. It is pretty strong. I do enjoy it. It is pretty good about taking down shields of elemental types without having, to match the burn, which is nifty to have without having to use Arbalest. However, having that 3-round slug burst thing is taking me a little bit to get used to. Perhaps with some more time and playtime with this weapon, it'll be more enjoyable. But for now, it's just kind of like, hey, it's not bad. It's definitely strong, but probably not my favorite. Like Outbreak Prime is still a pretty top favorite of mine as far as primary exotic weapons go. And then Izanami's Burden is the go-to for raids and everything. If you want to see how this weapon does in raids, I am sure Cactus will have a video out before too long about taking the Bastion to Last Wish. I don't know. He always does those kinds of videos when new exotics are released. So let's talk about this gun in PvP, and we are just about done. In PvP, this gun is actually really good. I fully enjoyed using this weapon in PvP, although a fusion rifle like Erentil with backup plan is going to always be better of an option than Bastion, but this was still pretty fun to mess around with. I loaded up into control, so that way it's 6v6. I felt like that'd be a better, I guess, test of the weapon for not, just playing with a couple times instead of a couple of days. And it was really nice to be able to, for the most part, one-shot everybody. It does have a slow reload, so this weapon would probably be stronger and better in competitive play match, so survival, instead of quick play where it's 6v6, just because the weapon has a 4-round magazine. And so if you're getting one of those whole team is rushing you and you have Bastion out, you will probably die. Whereas if you're in comp, even if you're in a 1v2 scenario, you would have a pretty reasonable chance of winning that just because you got 2 rounds at least in your Bastion when you spawn in. I really enjoyed using this gun. I think a lot of you will really enjoy using this weapon in PvP. I fully expect this weapon to become a PvP dominant weapon. So if you're a PvP guy, you should probably try and get to this gun. Alright, thank you guys all so much for watching. If you are still watching at the end of this video, I would just love it if you commented an emoji of a chicken. Or, I don't know, just something ridiculous down in the bottom. Not appropriate. I want to have my inbox full of genitalia or something. But something put down a chicken or a corgi. I don't know. Something like that would be pretty funny. Just to let me know you made it all the way through to the end of the video. I hope this helped you guys out. We're trying to get an idea of, is this gun worth it? Why are people ticked off about having Bastion? Because if you don't know about the puzzle, it could be a little weird. Why people be mad about having an exotic fusion rifle? That seems like a really good thing. So hopefully I kind of covered that and then gave you guys a nifty guide to help speed things up with just acquiring this weapon. So thank you guys all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the like button and or subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun making this for you guys, and I hope this was useful. I am Church of Caboose. Have a great week and happy grinding, y'all.